Let me do this and this and hey internet, it's Thursday night. It's time for sets with Dustin and Leah. Here's your host, Dustin Chapin.
Oh yeah, thank you for that enthusiasm. Very exciting, very exciting. This is amazing. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. This is great. We don't have Anthony with us. I think he joined the Peace Corps or something. I don't know. I think he's working at Disneyland playing a pirate at the Caribbean ride. We don't know what's going on with Anthony. He is MIA. We only have Jinda and Nikki, but that's okay. We're good. We're happy. We're good. I'm wearing this hat. Like this hat, Nick. It's a fun hat, right? Every time I wear this hat, somebody says, "Thank you for your service." Every single time. And I didn't know that's all you had to do. Like all these guys that spend their lives and sacrifice all these things to be in the military, all they need is a hat with leaves on it, and they would get the same respect. I was in an airport. I spent like an hour talking to a guy about Vietnam, and I didn't have the heart to tell him it's a record store hat. Like I was like stolen valor, I tell you. But it gets you free appetizers at Applebee's, just so you know. Get you a hat with leaves on it. This is crazy. I live in Los Angeles. Not a lot going on out here. Not much, nothing. Nobody's talking about it. Not a big deal. Yeah, man, it's weird. I think the hardest part is my family, my conspiracy family checking in on me. You know what I mean? Like they try to pretend like they're just, making sure I'm safe, but it's just enough so they can just go in on what they think is going on. So they're like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you safe?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Cool, cool, cool." So, yeah, Hannity thinks, and I'm like, "All right, dude." There's lasers from space coming down, and they're trying to get P. Diddy's house because there's a team trying to get rid of the evidence. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know. It's just say, "Hey, man, are you safe?" That's all you got to do. I don't need your conspiracy theories. So I blocked 2 aunts and a cousin. So on Facebook, that's where I'm at in life. It's there's a lot of footage going on online with all the stuff happening in the news, and it's it's tough seeing all the devastation. And I'm usually I hold it in pretty good until I see like a fireman rescuing a baby deer, and then I just lose it, and I'm just sobbing because this raccoon family may never be together again. Like that. That's where I'm at. That's when I lose it. All right, good laughs today. All right. There's you got to step up, guys. I laugh for you. You got to step up. And then we're all stressed about the to-go bag. That's the thing. Do you have the right to-go bag? What do you put in the go bag? I don't know. So I'm stressed about that because I tried to put one together, and I had Hot Wheels in there from when I was a kid because they mean something to me. And then I had like a NutriBullet, Star Wars socks, and a Slim Jim. Like, I don't know what to put in there. And then I'm thinking it's the apocalypse. I should have a weapon. So I was like, all I have as a weapon is like a golf club. So it won't fit in the bag. So that's what my to-go bag. All right. That's fun. Nick, you got a to-go bag? You gotta have one.
I gotta get one. You gotta keep making me think of it.
You gotta get ready. I don't know what you're gonna put in there, but you gotta get ready. I'm wearing a mask again outside. That's traumatizing. I forgot what that was like. I forgot, the tips to wearing a mask. You gotta brush your teeth first. You gotta do that. I remember during COVID, there was a guy. He pulled his mask down, coughed on everyone, and then put his mask back up. Like he was afraid to get himself sick. I remember that guy. I remember when I was on an airplane, there was a lady, she had a surgical mask, and she pulled it down, and she had trail mix inside the mask. She was like a little rabbit just eating out of her mask, the thing. So yeah, that's what that's about. But at least we have our dogs, you know what I mean? And my dogs are great. My dogs are kind of taking on my personality. I don't know. Nick, does your dog like you at all? Does your dog have your personality?
A lot like me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You bit me once. Yeah. It's my personality. Like my dog is broody. It doesn't trust people. It has a type 5. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I'm turning into me. My dog is auditioning at the Laugh Factory, and I'm not happy about it because I've been trying to get in there for 2 years. But that's all I got right now. I'll get funnier as this goes. But I'm happy you guys are here. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna have fun. I'll put like 2 minutes in the chat. Do what you got to do. Let's have fun today. And that's me. Are you ready for your first comment? Come on, let's go. Woo! Yeah, comedy love. I love it. This next guy, he's one of my best friends in the world. He moved, so we're not happy about it. I feel like he left me. It's like a breakup, but I saw him today, and I still got a thing for him. I'm not gonna lie. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been on Boardwalk Empire. He's amazing. Give it up for Nick Novicki.
Hey!
Yes.
How is it going, everybody? Yeah, I am very sad. I'm no longer neighbors. I lived in the same place with Dustin for years, and it was like a breakup almost.
Oh, yeah.
I had to get my bike. I left my bikes there for a couple weeks, and I went to go pick it up. And everybody, all our other neighbors, are like, "Oh, back again!" Like I was just the creepy guy that had been living there the whole time, you know. But yeah, no, I am back. We had a big, it's a lot of change going on in our lives right now. We bought a condo. So we're in a condo now, and it almost didn't happen because we couldn't get homeowners insurance. Which now, because of these crazy fires, I feel like a lot of people are not going to have homeowners insurance. They literally have a section when you call and you're trying to get homeowners insurance, and it says, if you live in California, dial 4 or whatever it is. And you're like, what is that? And you dial it, and they go, we will not give you insurance. I mean, nobody would give me insurance. I was calling like Allstate. I'm talking to somebody, and the guy's like, I can't. He goes, and then he starts whispering. He goes, hey, but I know a guy that could do it, you know. And he starts whispering. I'm like I'm trying to buy like an exotic animal. I'm like, look, I'm just trying to get insurance, not buy a tiger, you know. Like you see whispering to me on a phone. And yeah, so we moved to this place, and honestly, I did like no research. I have another baby coming. I have a 3-year-old that's been working a lot. We just kind of were like, we needed to go somewhere. I didn't really look at what we were doing. So we just get this place. The biggest decision I ever made in my life. I made it without doing any research or really investigating if it would work for me as a 3'10", 42-year-old. No research. I go in everything. I swear to God, like somebody was a Laker that lived here before. Like there is nothing at like a normal height. It is literally like they went out of their way to just make everything triple the size. So from like a towel, I look like I'm in some kind of weird 80s action movie, just trying to put like, after I get out of the shower, I have to like jump onto the toilet and then start swinging the towel like I'm, you know, throwing it on. It is Chutes and Ladders is what I play. I have more ladders around this, you know, living space. It is crazy. I mean, everything where you're like, well, maybe the sink is normal. Nope. Let's see if we can throw the handle as far deep back. Let's just get a triple size, very deep sink as if we want a dead body that we want to put in there. So I could literally take a bath like a cat, and that's what I need to do in order to turn the sink on and off. But luckily, I'm, you know, a little person, and so is my wife, and probably all my kids will be. So we decided to make it as difficult for them because ultimately a lot of this was like, look, I've had to struggle a lot throughout my life, so I'm going to make the biggest financial decision of my life difficult for my next of kin, you know. Basically, we are very excited though. The next major milestone's happening in 2 weeks. We're going to go from a family of 3 plus a French bulldog and to a family of 4. So we're having a baby.
Wow.
Uncle Dustin.
Yeah.
You know.
Woo, I'm ready.
Excuse me.
Party.
yeah,
Aunt Leah.
Aunt Leah. Aunt
Thank
Aunt
you.
Leah. And our French bulldog is like totally not having it. She's just shaking. She's sleeping on our bed. She's just like, "What are you guys doing? Why do you keep having kids? I know you're having another kid." She just walks around just like angry to herself all the time. She's like, "I'm supposed to be the one that has attention. I'm a French bulldog." She just looks at us and just tries to get pet by random people. And our daughter is training, for it. Our 3-year-old is very excited. She's like doing all the different things that need to be done. She's like, she's putting the bottle, like she in her school. She's in a new school. They were giving the baby a bath. I was like, look, this is great. We're just gonna have her start doing all kinds of stuff for us. Like, we'll never need to do any of the work. We could have our 3-year-old completely raise the baby, and again, we're in survival mode here. So we might as well just go full survival. She is, though. She's very cute. She does this thing where my wife, she's super pregnant. She's a little person, 8.5 months pregnant. So it just looks like, wild. She's also the kind of one that does all the manual labor. So I still have her like carrying stuff. And it normally kind of looked bad to have a man just kind of like walk around like very like casually. But when your wife is 8.5 months pregnant and a little person, it looks like she's going to fall down. I just have her carrying my book bag and groceries. It's like, people just stop us everywhere going, "Are you okay?" And I go, yeah, I'm good. And then they're just looking at her, just carrying. But she's super pregnant. My daughter is now, she's like, she'll say, she goes, "I'm pregnant too." She puts a little pillow under her belly. And I was just like, that is the last thing we need, too pregnant. And now I'm like, I am nervous about it. I mean, I was like, look, I'm going to start installing a little ring cam to see what's going on in this daycare, because, all right, too far. So the other thing is my wife has got a very unusual name. Her name is Teal, named after the teal-winged duck. It's an unusual name. So as we're trying to come up with this new name for our daughter, it's like this name, I have a normal name. My name, Nick. I'm named after Nick, like, Saint Nick, as if my parents would know. I'd end up in 9 Christmas movies. Would end up like providing us like security later in life. But we don't know. We don't know what to name her. I don't know. And it's not my wife's fault completely. Like, she grew up in Colorado, so it's like there was a weird hippies all around her. Like, she grew up, her neighbor, a white lady named Jemima. They just decided, hey, let's just name her Jemima, this white woman in Colorado, And, somewhere like in that family, they have to be like, "Have you met my aunt?" And this random person. So we don't know. We're coming up with all these crazy names. My wife's like throwing just different names, and maybe let's name her this, let's name her that. I'm like, first of all these crazy names. I'm like, it can't be a crazy name. There's a good chance that this girl is going to end up a little person. We can't have her named a wild name and be like the smallest person that she'll ever meet. Like, let's give her one thing at a time, like, can't call her Zebra, and it's like, this is the little person. "Hello, Zebra," She threw the name out too. She goes, "Well, what about Willow?" I was like, let's skip that. So that's, but I don't know. Maybe it would be cool because she could end up like a warrior, a little person, or just a little person that has a fun story about her family every time I ask the significance of her name. I also feel like that joke is only going to catch like 5% of audiences because the movie is dating itself. So I'm nervous how far. So big. I'm gonna end on this. The big thing for us was I missed Christmas. There's a lot of change going on. My mom is sick, so I decided to go for Christmas with my mom. but I left on Christmas Day. So I was like, look, I want to have the fun of Christmas Eve. So what I decided to do is move Christmas one day earlier. So I was like, Santa's coming on December 24th, Christmas Eve. Why not? How is she going to know? She's 3 years old. I'm just going to say, look, so I just said Merry Christmas. Santa came, ate cookies, did this. I got away with it, and it was awesome. So I was like, look, this is from now on, I have complete power of everything with this. I'm going to just change every holiday. Now Halloween is going to be July 4th. I'm not going to explain anything. We're just going to dress up and just kind of walk around. It's going to be fireworks. That's for candy. I'm just going to invent my own holiday. Just, first of all, like once a month should be Father's Day. There'll be a short King Day, bi-monthly, she'll have to celebrate me. That's my time, guys. Thank you so much.
Nick Novicki!
Nick Novicki, hilarious. Nick, that was so funny.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, Leah and I, we're thinking, yeah, maybe you'll just move back for the sink height. You know what I mean? At your old apartment. And it's tough not having you here. I think Rosie's just kind of going through like a teenager from the 90s. You know what I mean? She's an angst. She's going to be like, listen to Nine Inch Nails and like smoking pot. Like, it's going to be rough. It's like, she's not going to handle this second child well. But you can drop off. I'm having technical difficulties. My thing doesn't work. So you guys don't have to if I light you, got to do it by the phone. But this is fun. I'm excited. We got a person, a new comedian for sets. She's very funny. I met her at the World Series of Comedy back in the day, and she's really funny. Please give it up for Miss Micah, everybody.
Woo!
Can you all hear me?
Yay.
You can all hear me. Yeah, thanks for letting me be here tonight. Just to address the elephant in the room, if you wonder about my accent, I do not have a speech impediment. I am originally from Germany. That's why I might sound a little weird. Born and raised in Germany. I was actually watching a German movie earlier. I was actually watching the German version of Wizard of Oz. We call it the Wizard of Kilograms. AKA my drug dealer. Yellow brick road, it's just white bricks. Last month, end of December, I had to pay my property taxes for my house. And I don't know if anybody else knows it, but like they also charge you for like school taxes on your property taxes, so your money goes towards school. So $850 of that went towards the school. And I was like, I don't want to pay it. And then I got called into the principal's office. Parents show up for a parent-teacher night. Ended up telling them all the times I had unprotected sex recently, so now I'm grounded. Yeah, I grew up in Germany, and in the 90s, both my parents were like heavy smokers. And I don't know, my mom didn't want to be like too rough on me with the smoking. I know because she switched from Marlboro to Marlboro Lights. Pregnancy. And like, I don't know if anybody else had like chain smoking parents, like our whole apartment walls eventually like turned yellow. And I still remember when we had our first family computer back in the 90s. And my mom was the one that was always on there, always playing on it, smoking. And eventually I just gave our computer the nickname Chameleon because eventually just blended in with the yellow walls. And it was in the living room, and she was on there all day. And I told my mom, like, hey, I want to spend more time with you. I want to play with you. So her solution to that was just putting the computer in my bedroom. Just keeps on smoking. And she never quit. Even like during pregnancy, she never quit. And then a year ago, she was in the hospital And I didn't let her leave the room for like a week. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity to quit smoking. And I'm like, oh, all it takes is a couple of days in the hospital for you to quit smoking. But 9 months pregnancy wasn't it. My parents did like a lot of things backwards, I feel like, because, usually parents like adopt a child. My parents always threatened me with giving me up for adoption when I didn't want to clean up my room. Or like people have a kid to save the marriage. Oh, let's have a kid to save it. But my mom was like, oh, if we ever get divorced, it's your fault. So I don't know if I was just her way to get out of the marriage somehow. But lots of childhood trauma going on right now. I'm processing. I back in therapy, yay, and had my first session last week, and it was online. But I'm like, oh my God, what do I even wear? What do I like? Do I like dress up? I don't want to be overdressed. I don't want to be underdressed because it was via Zoom at home. And I don't want to like be in my lounge clothes, and then she like judges me like, oh, she doesn't take care of herself, and I'm like, how do I dress? I was like more worried about being dressed correctly for my therapist than I would usually be for like a first date. And we had a good first meeting, and she was like, oh, I feel like you don't really feel your feelings. So she like sent me like a link to like a feeling wheel to like get to know all these different feelings. And there's a lot of them. I didn't know how many feelings there are because when I was a little kid with my parents, there was only sad and happy. So you were either happy or sad. And if you were sad, you had about 10 minutes to be happy again, or you would get your ass beat. So pretty much I was just happy. Yeah. And I actually grew up as a tomboy. I always, like, as a little kid, I always had short hair, and I wore, like, baggy pants, and I always wanted to be a boy, like, total tomboy. And one time I dated a guy, and I showed him a picture of me in, like, elementary school, like, all chubby, like, shaved off hair, and he's like, is that your brother? Like, no, that's me. And he's like, no way. That's a boy. That's not you. And he was convinced that I used to be a boy, and I'm like, no, I was born a girl. I was always a girl. And I was like, what can I do to convince you? So I hit him with that little fertility move. And actually one of these warranty people like called me for my car. One lady called me because if you see like my name is like spelled M-E-I-K-E, so a lot of times people call me like Mike. So this warranty lady calls me and she's like, can I speak to Mike? And I'm like, who's calling? I was like, oh, are you Mike's wife? Like, no, I am Mike. But nice of her to think I'm wifey material, so first one ever to believe in me. Let's see, I stayed in an Airbnb not too long ago, and it was like the weirdest thing. I showed up and I was hungry. I had like a little pack of chips. I was like, okay, I'm gonna eat these when I get to the room. And get to the Airbnb, and it was like past 10 o'clock, so my host was already asleep, and he was like sleeping in a room next to me, and I guess the walls were so thin I could actually hear him snore. And I'm like, oh my God, if I can hear him snore, he can probably hear me move around, so I have to be quiet. And I was like, okay, let me eat my snack. And there was a sign like no eating and drinking, and I was like, in the room you weren't allowed to eat or drink. And I'm like, oh my God, if I like eat my chips now, he's probably gonna wake up and like chase me out of the house or something. So but I was really hungry, and what I did was just take like the chips and just kind of like just put them in my mouth and just let them soak up. Just get them like really soft, just kind of like so I don't know, that was kind of weird. What else do I have? I think I'm close to my time here now, but that's all I had for you guys tonight here. Thank you for letting me.
Yay! Miss Micah. Give it up, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Our first German on the show. Pretty exciting. Woo! It's so international.
We're international.
It's crazy. I had chain smoking dad. My dad, he smoked my whole life. And I remember like car rides or like a gas chamber, just windows rolled up, just smoking butts with the beer, with a beer between his legs. I mean, it was like a death sentence every time we went to Galveston. It was like to the beach. Yeah, I remember going to the store buying cigarettes from my grandmother. She was also a heavy smoker, and then just like give the guy the note that I'm like 9, I'm buying cigarettes. Like nobody cared. It was great. I remember one time my dad, as a prank, this is real. Me and my buddy, we grabbed my dad's cigarettes and we doused it with lighter fluid, like the actual cigarettes. And so he went to light it and just like, yeah, that's what we did. We did for fun in Texas. That's what we do for fun in Texas. Speaking of Texas, I got a very funny guy. I met him in Fort Worth, I believe. He's very, very funny. He's been all over working festivals, and he's in The Observer, which is a big deal if you're from Dallas. But ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Zach Webb, everybody.
Zach Webb!
Hey! Thanks for having me. Out here in Texas, we just had the opposite problem of LA. We had a big snowstorm, which is horrifying for everyone who lives here. It's really bad because people just don't know how to drive in these conditions. There's just like 3 types of people. It's either like grandmas, Vin Diesel, or Vin Diesel's grandma. Like that's all who's on the road. And like I got this text from my job that said like, "Hey, we're open, but if you don't feel safe, don't come in." And I was like, I have never felt safe at this job. Like I since I've been hired, I've never felt safe. 2025's been going all right. Got some New Year's resolutions, trying to give back, giving back to charity. Started donating to this organization that helps out young female entrepreneurs. It's called OnlyFans. Yeah, it's kind of nice. I didn't know this about OnlyFans, but apparently they message you. And I thought that was kind of weird because, like, I have depression. So sometimes I'm not in that, like, headspace, for that sort of thing. And I got a message from this very nice lady that just said, "If I was naked in front of you, what would you do to me?" I was just like, "Ma'am, I have no idea." I was like, "Here's $5. Just leave me alone. I don't need this." Tomorrow is my first day of doing ketamine therapy. I'm excited about that. Yeah, it's a really interesting thing because I've done drugs before and had people like be a sitter and like watch me. But this is like a licensed therapist who's doing this. Like every time I've done like acid and a friend like hung out with me, like they were able to like roll a blunt or like get some pizza, and I don't know if the therapist is going to do that for me. I'm kind of worried about it now. Yeah. Ketamine itself is like a horse tranquilizer. And it made me realize, man, horses really have the most traumatic of existence ever. It's like you get one pair of shoes for life. And you don't get a pick either, And you break one limb, you're dead. Like you're straight to the glue factory. Like that's such a high level of stress. I don't know how to end that bit, but David Lynch died today, so I've just been trying to get surreal with it. My dad's been saying a lot of weird stuff to me. My dad's been saying like just like weird stuff, nothing like crazy or like traumatic, but just weird. Like the other day we were watching a movie where a character has a pet squirrel. And like my dad said, "Zach, if I ever have a pet squirrel, I want you to take me out back and shoot me." And I was like, man, that's a bold request, but okay, whatever. And then like a week later, he was like, "Zach, if you ever see me with socks and sandals, I want you to take me out back and shoot me." And that one's not that weird, like people do that. I think this dude just wants to die. And like, I'll do it because it's my dad and I love him, But he says all these things to me and just like one of these days he's going to forget. Yeah. It's going to go to take out the trash.
He's wearing his socks. Got to put something on, you know? Goes for the sandals, and I'm going to be waiting for him. I'm going to be up in the crow's nest, you know? Just putting out a cigarette, lining him up in my sights, being like, I love you, Dad. And all of a sudden, what do I hear? Bang. Over on the grassy knolls, there's a second shooter. It's my brother, David. I love movies. I'm a big movie buff. I heard that, like, for the Michael Myers mask and Halloween, they took a mask of William Shatner and they, like, superheated it so it would look that way. And it made me think, if William Shatner gets cremated, at some point during that process, for like a split second, he's going to look like Michael Myers. I'm from Texas, so we have like a lot of churches. We have a lot of like big churches, like big commercial churches. My parents kind of go to one like that. They have like a gym in the church. But what I thought was weird about it is you're not allowed to spot anybody in the gym because Jesus has you. I started taking creatine recently because a friend of mine was telling me it helps fight depression. And I don't know if that's true, but I definitely want to fight something now, you know? I'm all jacked up on creatine, you know? Let me add them. I got a haircut recently. But what's weird is, like, I didn't realize how bad I was about getting haircuts because everyone has commented on the haircut. Like, I saw someone I haven't seen in 3 years yesterday, and they said, "Hey, should you get a haircut?" And I was like, I haven't seen you like in forever. Like, I don't know. It's weird though. I did have a bad haircut at one point. I should have known it was going to be a bad haircut because I walked into like one of those, like, you know, just like places like a barbershop. And the woman was like, "Oh, what would you like to do?" And I showed her a picture of me, my headshot, like with shorter hair. And she just said, "I can't make you look like that." And I was like, that's me. Like in the picture, I don't. One thing about me is I can't change a flat tire. A lot of men in my family are very disappointed in that fact. You know, I can't change a flat tire. But you know, and there was like, everyone should learn how to change a flat tire. And I'm like, well, everyone should learn how to set up Wi-Fi. So next time you're struggling, you know, forget my number. You know, and it's weird though, because it's like, if I get a flat tire, my car's just total. Like that's it. Like I have no options at that point. Like the only thing I could do is like call 3 other dudes who look exactly like me, and then we're all on the side of the road looking at YouTube tutorials. And it says, this one says we need a jack, and I'm like, well, call his ass over here. Like let's figure this out. Oh man. Sometimes when I'm doing comedy, like on stage and stuff, like I will like randomly get something in my eye and my eye just starts to water, and it's super annoying. And I imagine it looks weird from like the audience perspective, because it just looks like I'm telling a very emotional dick joke. Let's see, what else do I got here? Yeah, I think that's about it for me. I think that's all I got.
Yeah. Give it up for Zach.
Jack.
Funny. I have an emotional dick joke. I was my dad was in the hospital. He was sick, and I had to help him like pee, and so I would have to like pull it out and like shake it and stuff. And I remember like we didn't get along my whole life, and then I was just like, that kind of goes out the whole. That kind of all goes out the window when you're helping your dad go pee pee. You know what I mean? Like, you got your dad's dick in your hand. You're like, I think we can forget about our politics. You know what I mean? Move on. That's my emotional dick joke. David Lynch died. I didn't know that. I saw a picture. I just thought it was just another ad for his master class. That's terrible. I was signed up today. I was like, this is the day I'm going to sign up. And it was like, who knew?
It's half off now.
It's half off. Wild at Heart. I'm everything about that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Snakeskin jacket. What is it, Leah? Represents my
individuality and my freedom.
personal freedom.
My personal freedom.
Leah's all about snakeskin jackets. Very funny. Closing out the show for us. So happy to have her. Late Night with Colbert, all kinds of fun stuff. She wrote out books. She's got podcasts. She's just, she's too big to be here, but I roped her into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Leah Bottomer! Woo!
Oh, my goodness. What? What? Oh, shit.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
Wild at Heart. I think it's when I should have realized I had special. I loved Willem Dafoe in that movie, and he was the creeper, and I was like, I want a fucking piece of that, dude.
You got a creeper, honey.
That is such a great fucking movie. Zach, Dustin, and I were actually in that snowstorm in Dallas.
Oh yeah.
I was in New York we were filming the Tamron Hall show. I go back to the hotel room. I'm on the phone with the Tamron Hall people being like, can you guys fly me out? I had a 10 a.m. flight. I was like, can you please fly me out earlier? There's a snowstorm. Nobody there can drive in this shit. You got to get me in before they're not going to. So they got me on a 5 a.m. I'm waiting for the flight. I get a phone call from the city of Los Angeles that our block is under mandatory evacuation from the fire. And I'm alone in a hotel room. Our next door neighbor doesn't have a car. So I'm like calling her to be like, are you okay? And then you're sitting there going, I can lose everything. It's totally fine. Everything that's important is out of the house. You know what I mean? You're just telling yourself that shit. And it is true. And you're like, everybody in LA is going through this. We're all going to hang together. And it reminded me so much of the feeling I had on 9/11, which is like, you don't know what's happening. You're like, I was in New York in 9/11. I had just moved there. I was going through a breakup and I lived alone in Manhattan. And I got a phone call from my ex-boyfriend's sister, and I pick up the phone and she's like, how are you? And I go, we'll be fine. It's fine. We're not a good match. And she goes, no, someone just flew into the World Trade Center. So I step outside right as the second plane goes in. And when I tell you, I just thought we were under attack. That was what my thought was. I walk inside, I pack a go bag, and put in I'm so proud of myself. Contact lenses, my identification, cash, baby blanket, which is what I was upset that I didn't bring out this week, and a lot of socks. You got to have socks. Wet feet will fucking kill a person. Then I walk outside because I'm waiting for like some kind of sign. Like, should I jump in the Hudson and swim across? You know what I mean? And I was obviously going through a breakup, so I had a beautiful eating disorder. I mean, you should have seen me. Like, wow. I ate a handful of candy corn and a slab of chicken breast a day, and then I would go sprint running. I mean, I looked good. And so I was like, not going down like this. I walked across the street into a grocery store. I bought a carton of Camel Lights, and I got a gallon of Turkey Hill ice cream. It was not peppermint, mint chocolate chip. And then I just sat there watching the people fucking walk up with just chain smoking, eating. It was, woo! I like the way I deal with trauma. It also reminded me of one of my other favorite panic pack stories. My mom was in a car crash. She lived, so put that in there when you hear the rest of the story. I'm in Manhattan. I get the phone call that she's like They don't think she's going to make it. They need somebody to figure it out. Can I get to Jersey? I call Dustin. He's in Queens. I go, Mom's in a car crash. They don't think she's going to make it. Pack me a bag. I'm renting a car at 42nd Street. Meet me there. He meets me there. I drive us to Jersey. We get to the hospital. I open the bag. Suitcase full of titty shirts. Just half shirts, low cleavage, no pajamas, no fucking toothbrush. I go, what happened here? What happened in this back? He's like, I got nervous. It's to make everybody happy. The whole week, I just have like, I'm out there with like fucking Dolly Parton tits in the hospital. I mean, my mom came around, so you never know what happens. My mom's doing really good. I've been trying to set up trips for her. She can't travel alone, so we recently took her to Dollywood. We were driving through Tennessee, and my mom was telling Dustin how her mother was a tobacco picker on a tobacco, like she picked tobacco, and she lived in like a one-room house with like a whole bunch of people. And my mom was like, the happy part of this story is they had a cow. And I look at Dustin and I go, cow's gonna fucking die. My mother does not tell a story without somebody dying or getting ill. I don't even have to know the person. My mom will call me to let me know that this person I've never met has an illness and is dying. It's how every story ends. So I go, Dustin, cow's gonna get shot. My mom looks at us appalled. Cow doesn't get shot, Leah. He got run over by a train. And the timing on this one. Sometimes you think she's going to tell you a story where it doesn't end up in death or terminal illness because she starts out really ambiguous, like a lovely vegetable she just had in a soup, a lot of soups, or a favorite Christmas movie, ends in death. So my mom is a very interesting mix. She was raised evangelical Christian, and then her and my dad became hippies. So you can never really get the guilt out, but then there's a lot of nudity in my house. I grew up around a lot of naked people. She's a sculptor, so there's like naked lady sculptures everywhere. A lot of paintings of vaginas. They used to have Naked Wednesday, which is when my mother and like all the other artists in the county would like pay somebody to come over in our barn and take their clothes off. And that's probably why I wear like 3 jackets. I have 2 pairs of pants on right now. I'm not even naked in the shower. I won't fucking do it. You can't make me do it. And anytime I say, Ma, there's like a naked person, there was a naked lady, I came home, naked lady on our kitchen table over Christmas. I mean, the birth of Jesus, and there's a fucking stranger's puss where I'm going to cut the ham, you know? And now she looks at me and goes, you're starting to sound like a conservative. I mean, really? I don't want naked strangers on my table, and now I'm dropping drones and denying people health care? I mean. I think I want to talk about one last thing is that we, Dustin and I drove cross country, went to Philly. Oh, 2 things. One, first we were this also happened in Texas. Our dog got bit on her vagina by what we believe is a poisonous spider. So Dustin wakes me up like a great dog dad. He goes, there's something wrong with Lacey's vagina. I look at it. Indeed, there is something very wrong. It's just like it's like an alien head coming out. We panic. We call the nearest emergency vet that doesn't have 0 stars. We drive there. They take your dog right out of your hands when you walk in. They take the dog. They go to the vet. In the interim, her face is swelling up, her little eyelids and her lips. So they're like, usually with the face, it's a bee sting. And at this time, I'm trying to be calm. I go, but did you look at her dog pussy? And the lady looked a little taken aback, and she goes, I didn't look at the vagina. And I go look at the puss. So she goes back, and she's like, yeah, something wrong there. So they put her on an IV. She's fine. I got to wipe down her vag with Neosporin a couple times a day. for a while. So now every time I go over to Lacey Jane, she just spreads her legs like this. Which one day will be a funny callback when I get it to be a full joke, because I'll just do it later. And then, so if you met our two dogs, Dustin was talking about how they are his personality. They are. Lacey barks at everybody for no reason, and you're like, give him a chance. But Lacey's like, she's serious. She's the serious one. And then Greta's like, yeah, let's fucking go. Let's go. So we're in Philly. I'm out for a walk. My friend who lives in Philly goes, there's a lot of stray cats in the area. I go, okay. So I'm walking down the street. I got both dogs. Bunch of cats come running at us. Greta's sight. She wants to play with the cats. Behind the cats comes a fucking Rottweiler. No collar, no leash, running at us. And in that moment, you know how in those moments you make up your mind, I was like, this is it. Like, I might not die, but I'm going to lose a few things off my body. You know what I mean? And so Greta, even Lacey Jane, the tough one, is like, we can't win this battle. She fucking turns around. She's ready to go. But Greta's like, fucking go, dude. Walks up to this monster dog and gets in his face. And this dog is like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like smoking a cigar. He's ready to go. I see him like want to just pick her up and shake her around until her little neck breaks. So I, like a psycho, step in between the Rottweiler and little Greta May. And from a deep part of me goes, no. And then he went back, Greta went back, and then I just turned around and I walked down the fucking street. And the Rottweiler actually came around the other direction and cut us off. I had to call my friend to come pick us up. Thank God my dogs weren't wearing an Eagles jersey, because then we would have been dead. Cowboys. Oh my God. They are the
Cowboys
Eagles.
jersey.
I got it backwards.
That's okay. That's okay.
I was remembering the panic and not whose football team it was.
That's all right. That's like
They are the Eagles. Fucking Philly, man. They're crazy. That's it. That's all.
Yay, Leobana, everybody. Yes.
Woo.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I was on a Zoom, so I couldn't help. But
Didn't even answer his phone.
I didn't answer. And just so you know, just Greta's like 9 pounds.
She's like 9 pounds.
Yeah. Like if Benji was, on the street for like 4 weeks. But this was a great show. Thank you, everybody. It's good to see Nick again. Probably the last time we'll ever see him.
So rude that you moved, Nick. So rude.
I'm so sad.
You seem sad. I saw you today. I was just like, you should be here.
You should
try to
be
figure it out.
here.
Or move us in. We'll figure it out. But
Move us in.
Yeah, you got an extra bedroom. I saw.
Come in.
Yeah, we'll do it. Thank you, everybody. This has been a fun show. If you want to tip, it's at Dustin-Chafin on Venmo. Give it to the comics. And we love you. And yeah, got to go. All right. Woo! Thank you.